Did you hear me? Okay, I'm going to repeat my question. We are going to talk about education in this session and how did the countries handle the education while or during the lockdown. Most of us are from Turkey, but you may have heard about other countries and their views on education. How did they handle them? So you can share your experiences about those two. Okay, who would like to start? You are going to...
Can you repeat the question, please?
Okay. In this session, we are going to talk about education. And my first question is, how did the countries handle the education during the lockdown? Yes, Sarah.
Like every sector was damaged, the education was damaged either. The student couldn't get to their schools. That's why online education born. But is it effective as much as face-to-face education? Of course, it is not. Since the students have to study during the coronavirus outbreak, they must pay attention to the online classes. But online classes are not enough, I think. Because and also every student cannot maybe join. Every student's life is different. We cannot guess if they have enough internet or suitable devices. It is hard, especially for the students who has important exams. Those are some of the negative sides of the changing education, I think.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you. Who else? Okay, Zeynep.
I agree with Sarah, and I do believe this education facilities are not equal for everyone, because we know the families, they don't have any devices to connect the lessons and they don't have the internet connection. So they can't just follow the lessons. And even if a student have the computer and internet connection, it's a kind of different education style that we're experienced before. So people can't adopt, students cannot adopt so easily. And also teachers, most of the teacher, they're not good at technology. So they're having some problems to even opening the videos, like opening live lessons. So it's a kind of negative side for that. Also, in not every student have a good family. I mean, while her or his sisters or brothers are fighting in there, the student is trying to listen, to catch the lesson in that situation. So it's so hard. Also, it's so hard to find the access the test books and those kind of materials from online, because it's some teachers are not like, there's a problem like copyright, so it becomes a big problem for that.
Okay, thank you. Abdurrahman, how did your country handle the situation, and what do you think the negative sides of online education?
Okay, in my country, and now the online classes are going on via Zoom. So I think it is better than sitting at home, because due to social distancing and lack physical training in school, they will keep busy themselves on mobile. Now, if they don't even study in Zoom, they will be busy in mobile, laptop, and internet. Hence, damage of their less damage of their health, their mind, and everything. So it's better, the parents or the teacher, they keep connection between parents and teachers. At least they can share the lesson like we taught. And the parents should take care of their children more than teachers right now. And the teachers, while teaching, in teachers also can ask them what did they didn't understand. but still the students are, most of the students are not concentrating there. They're busy in playing games. Sometimes they close the video, they off the video, and they do some other things. They're not following. It is very hard to it is very hard to handle the students in Zoom. But anyhow, we all the teachers should work in this, take out time and help the students, help the children cheer up in Zoom, make them some stories, help them in understanding, say them some funny things, like keep them busy, so the students will be attracted towards the teachers.
Okay.
So now in Saudi Arabia, these are going on. The teachers are teaching through Zoom, and it is very good. Anyhow, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Joe.
So is it very, I think that it is not that bad, but it requires for the student a very atomic work. Like you cannot just work anymore, just class. You need to work more after classes. You need to work doing exercise they are not in the textbooks, doing stuff that teacher. But the positive thing that I found it is that it is easier to like I do an exercise of maths, and I don't get it the exercise. I can send it to the teacher, and she can explain to me in a private video call. So something that we didn't have at school because it was too many students in a room. You didn't have that focus, so it needs to be come for you. But like if the students don't want to like try, that could be really hard to recover, because you need to be autonomous. So if you just go to class to just what the teacher tell you to do, like just that, if you don't do anything else, it's going to be really hard to you.
So did I understand you right? You said that when we were in class, we were too crowded, and when you couldn't understand something, when you ask, maybe you may not have chance to understand the teacher. But now you're at home and alone, and if you don't get the topic that the teacher is explaining, you can write to her and she sends you a separate video to make you understand that. So you think that this is
yes, and if at home you could the teachers send us so that we have some direct contact, and then they send us PowerPoints with the all the things that we need to know, and we can at home with calm review all these things with more calm and patience. Not that like we only have 90 minutes at school and now we have probably an hour, 3 hours to do that, so it's more time. We have more time.
You say that this is an advantage for a student. If you are into learning really, if you mean
so it could be, but it could be like really bad to people if they don't adapt, because some people don't adapt that good to technology, so it could be hard. But could be good, depends on people.
Okay, it's just like being in class, right? If you are interested in class, you listen to the teacher and you learn something. And still, if you are online having an online education, if you are into something, you may get help from your teacher. This is an advantage, as Joe said, but it is an advantage for who? Think of your classes for me as a teacher during this education, I have some words to say. Let's say I have 20 students in class, and when someone asks me about a topic that he couldn't get, another person may have the same question in his mind, and while I am explaining for the student A, probably the student B is going to learn. But this time, I had to do the same explanation for 20 times, right? For each student, because probably their questions are not going to be the same, and I have to take care of them one by one. So it's going to be an advantage for the students to have a mentor, but for the teacher, it's going to take too much time, I guess. Okay. Yes, what are the disadvantages of this education system right now? We can count the devices and maybe low internet connection might be counted. And as your friend said, this is an advantage. As your friend said, Joe, he said that teacher takes video and sends it, and in class you have just 40 minutes to learn something. But when you are having separated video, you can watch it all day, you can repeat it many times, and you can learn much better. It's an advantage, yes. Okay, would you like to add something? Yes, Zeynep.
Also, I forgot to say that, but we can't ignore the exams because, I mean, especially university students are graduating from online schools, and they're just taking their exams from here. And I don't think that we can trust those exam results, because most of the students are not just doing it on their own. They can just easily copy, and they can look the book, and they can do whatever they want in there. So I don't think that those results are equal and trustable as well.
Yeah, they're not reliable. You're right. Yes, Smile.
Well, thank you. I would like to tell the situation that's in Kenya, the education system. Right now, the schools are closed in Kenya, but students are staying at home. They were given enough assignments that will get them busy during this lockdown. But the parents at home are really complaining about their children. They are stubborn. The students are stubborn at home. So they are insisting the government to open the schools, but the government again is refusing and are not allowing and giving an explanation that the health of the students are more important than education. So they believe that health comes before education. And the other thing is this lockdown. This lockdown, people see it more likely as holiday, but parents really suffer this lockdown. But I don't know if the students are really doing those assignments given. It seems like they are very happy, like this is an advantage to them. So again, these national exams, that's the primary and the secondary schools, they are planning to even postpone it to somehow next year, because they believe that health comes before education.
All right. It's not a priority right now. Learning maths is not more important than being healthy. You're right. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Joe?
So here is a bit different. So the evaluation, like you have discipline, great, and this is only be not affected by the exam. The exam is only be like if the university asks for the exam, that's the exam you're gonna do. So how do you evaluate people? So the teachers probably have a hard time, because you need to see that student is if it is listening, if it is participant, and this type of things, and then they send us little home assignments to do to keep it busy. But the exams are doing at school with the distance, with the social distance.
Okay, thank you. Shawala, yeah, yes, please.
And for negative sides of this distance education, not all students have direct access to technology, which is not their fault. And they can't go to the libraries either because they are close to. And it's also a reason of the disruption of their education. And some of them have also low educated parents, and they can't help their child with their education also, unfortunately. So because of that, students have some emotional stress on this period while trying to keeping up with the changed education.
Okay, just to remind you, on each topic we talk, like right now we are talking about education. At the end, we are going to write resolutions, okay? Don't forget that, keep in mind. Thank you. Yes, Abdurrahman.
Lectures must be delivered in face like Zoom meeting program, and the students question time to time whether they are understanding the lectures or not, because it has been noticed if the lectures are delivered without live meeting, a student after attendance keep the device on but become busy in other activities, playing and sleeping, and the teachers should cheer them up. The teachers should cheer the students so that students will attend the classes. And for in exam side, my suggestion is like, if the teachers are giving marks, if the student is present every day, so we can give them marks in attendance, in assignments which the teacher will give them. Then if they keep their camera on, because this is the main factor, if the camera is off, the teachers do not know whether they're concentrating or not. So if the teachers say them like, there will be no exam, then the students will be happy. Then but we need to, the teachers should say them, there will be no exam, but you will have marks, you will promote to the next class if you listen me properly, if you complete the homeworks, the assignments on time, and if you attend every time. Then if you keep your camera on, and if you ask questions if you don't understand, so in this way the students will be promoted to the next. I think this will be a better way during this time, I'm saying.
Okay, thank you. Mariam.
Oh, can we ask a questions? Like what we should do for ask a question?
No, you can ask question anytime.
Okay, I will ask a question to Abdul Rahman.
Okay.
I mean, if there is no
Zainab, let me explain it. If you have a question on someone's speech, you can just raise your hand, and I will, while he is talking or she's talking, I will know that you have question for him. Then as soon as the person finishes his speaking, I will let you ask your question. So we won't miss the person and your question. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
So if there's no exam, do you think that students will care that much about the lessons?
Of course they need to care, because if the teacher says them, you will be not promoted to the next level without, like after not giving exam also, if they do not attend the classes properly, if they don't keep their on while teaching, if they don't do proper assignments, if the teachers like, do this activity today in your home and send me through WhatsApp, or you just complete it and send me through PDF file, or if the student's camera is on, and if the student is not concentrated on listening properly, the teacher can easily cut marks in this, and he will to not level him up for the next year. So for this, the students will concentrate, like there'll be no exam, they'll be happy. But on the other side, if the attendance and assignments and every activities with the teachers are provided in, if they fully promote, and it is much easier than exam.
Thank you.
Okay, Maria.
As everybody know, all the students missed the face-to-face classes, but we can't go to school like Leges, and we can't go to school. Students, especially who have important exams like Leges and YKS, have difficulties, but they have to attend online classes for preparing exam. But I think the online classes aren't healthy because we look at computer more than 3 hours, and our eyes can be damaged, and we can headache too. And if the students have headache, we can't listen the lessons in an attentive way. And sometimes the students don't attend the classes because the lessons aren't mandatory. If we think everybody must attend the classes, we must do the classes obligatory for everyone. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Sarah.
There are several things in order to improve the concept of distance education. Firstly, government must provide free internet for
hold
all
on.
students.
Just hold your word, because this is our second question, what Sarah is going to talk about. And this means we are moving on, but we can still talk about the education system and its advantages and disadvantages. But the second question was, how could you improve the education? I was actually going to ask you a short question about, you have to consider two things. One, disadvantaged families. I mean, they may not have the equipment to let their kids to have the proper education. This is one. And two, child himself may not want to have online classes. So we have two situations here, and please consider that when you are telling us how could you improve education, the online education right now. Yes, thank you. Yes, Sarah, we are listening.
I can continue with the second one then.
You were actually doing the right thing. Just go on with your own words, okay? Don't change.
Okay. Secondly, online classes should be obligatory, like Meryem said, in order to increase participation, because some of students may be lazy to attend all classes. But if it is obligatory, I mean, the teachers take the attendance, students probably will attend all classes. And also the parents should follow their children's lessons. Parents should be informed about the time schedule by the teachers.
Okay. How could you improve online education? We talked about their disadvantages, and we know that it's hard to have online education, to sit in front of a computer and try to understand. You have a lot of disturbing things around you. So how can we improve this situation? Yes, Joe, we are listening. I thought you were raising your hand, Joe. No?
Yes, so we could like reopen libraries, but with each one like do a report to see which people have computer, which didn't have. Then if the school has the capability to give computers, they give. If they don't have, they reopen the libraries with each student with each computer, and they could attend class that way.
Okay, thank you. As we talked about the former session, we talked about the health organizations, the World Health Organization. Do you think that we also should have a World Education Organization? Because, as your friend said,
I don't know if your country have, but we have like something like that, but for the country. It's like
yeah, we have ministry, that's right, it's for our country, and they're
So-
doing their best. But what I'm talking about is,
Like the world, like every.
yeah, in general, because during this period, we have devices, we have electricity. Turkey is lucky about it, maybe, but in some parts of the world, they don't have the same advantages that we have right now. But there are still kids to be educated in those countries too. Do you think precautions should be taken all together as the health system? I mean, we are trying to get better. We are having some precautions like wearing masks and other things. Do you think education also should have some standards for the world? Yes, smile.
Thank you. I don't think we should have such a thing because every country has a different education system than every other country. So I don't think we should have such thing because we will see some countries interfering with their problems with the education system. So I don't think we should have such thing.
Don't you agree that we have, as a world, have the same issues to teach our kids in general? I mean,
No,
of course, each and every country has its own education system according to its standards of life. But don't we have some standards or the same topics that we should teach our kids as a human living on Earth?
I think we should not, because every country has a different language. This is one. Two, the education system is different. Another thing is I don't think this and the facilities of every country are not the same. There are some developed countries and the countries who are not developed, so which cannot manage to afford these facilities. So if they can and they can get solutions to this, I think then they can have.
Okay. Yes, Zeynep.
Actually, I don't agree with him because he said every country's education system is different, so we can't establish a like common thing like worldwide. But when we're looking NATO, like every country's military is different, but when we're looking NATO, there is the establishment like that. And if we maybe we can establish a like worldwide education system or something like that, and we can make it optional to attend it. And also there is something from study guide. In New Zealand, a group of publishers agreed to allow for virtual public readings of their materials from libraries and classrooms. And same thing happened in Australia as well. I think we should make it worldwide, and maybe I'm agree with you, teacher, and we can establish something like worldwide, and with that establishment, we can provide those kind of access. We can provide those kind of things to all countries and students, and we can make it optional.
Thank
I've
you.
got a
That's
question.
nice. Yeah.
Okay, I would like to ask Zainab.
Mhm.
What about the issue of language? Some countries, the education system, the languages are different. There are some who speak in French. There are those who speak German. There are those who speak English. What will be that? What's the solution to this problem?
Okay, thank you for the question. I don't think that language is a kind of problem because we know that English is a language which is like worldwide English, and almost everyone knows that. And I don't think that language is a problem because maybe we can just write the rules and we can just like actually I couldn't get the connection between the language and the system because you can just give the rules and you can just provide some device and money help or do something, and then it's not a kind of thing which is about language, I guess.
Yes, Joe. I'm so sorry. Ismail, do you have anything to add or? Ismail? Are you satisfied with the answer or do you have any more questions?
I have one more question. Say that's not a problem. What about the countries who are not developed, who don't afford those facilities of education, like the computers, internet, electricity, all those?
So I think, especially for those kind of countries, we should establish a thing like that, because countries cannot do anything for their own. So there should be an establishment to help them. So that's why we should establish a new thing like that.
Thank you,
Thank
Zain.
you.
Okay, Joe, I think you want to say something?
Yes, so I don't think that's the problem, like language. I think the problem is right now economic problem to do. It's just a thing, because any even politic problems, because politicians are so worried about COVID that even about the economy, the impact that COVID will do to the economy, that they even don't think about what it will do to education, to that type of things. I don't think that right now is a top of the list to do. So it's going to be, if you want to do such a thing right now, if there was like a year ago, probably, but now, right now, I don't think that that's possible. By amount things that are happening right now, I don't think that's possible. It is it.
Okay, thank you. Abdurrahman?
Okay, if there is an education organization for the whole world, my suggestion is that language will be not the biggest problem, because just from the World Health, or the World Education Organization, they should invite some teachers from every country, okay, and suggest them how to teach, like what to teach, like equally to everyone, so they can explain in their language to their countries, to their people. So I think language is not the problem. There must be, I think it would be a good idea if there is, the world education system, so that the teachers from every country will attend the meeting or any congress, and they will be explained how to teach them, how to teach their nations, so they can translate it and they can explain to the people. So this will be, I think, a good idea for this.
Okay, thank you. So, do you think, this is just my suggestion, we assume that the virus is somehow going to be handled, and maybe you are going to have, I don't know, 6 months of being uneducated, but at the same time, might it be possible for all the countries to come together and teach their kids something else other than maths, or I don't know, physics or something that is more important than knowing 2 times 2 is equals to 4? What do you think about it? I mean, instead of doing the school subjects, could it be possible for an education organization come together and decide to teach our kids something else other than school subjects? Like in Turkey, I don't know other countries, but I would like to hear how it goes on. In Turkey, we don't have enough PE classes right now. And we don't have enough art classes at the moment because we don't have time for those things. We don't teach playing instruments in schools. So could it be possible to make our kids or children or teenagers to make more talented at the moment? Because, you know, as you said, it is really hard for students to sit in front of a PC, and sometimes they don't have internet or they don't have the devices needed. So instead of doing that, might it be a chance to get a talent at the moment? Yes, Zeynep.
Yes, I think it will be more effectful than what we're doing right now because I said exams are a kind of big problem because people like students don't want to study physics, chemistry or something, and you're forcing his or him to do it. So he or she don't want to like just entering that exam because just he have to pass that exam to do something. So he just start to cheat about exam and doing something illegal. Illegal. It's a
Yes,
Turkish word.
illegal.
I
No,
know.
it's not Turkish actually, but
Okay.
we use it just like Turkish. Yeah.
So if we will do something like that, we don't have to face with those kind of problems because students are going to students are going to do what they wanted to do. So they don't need to cheat or do something like that.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Anything else? I think the rest of the participants are not agreeing with me. Yes, Joe.
So yes, but okay. So here in Portugal, we have I think that it is like started like for me it's not starting, but it's starting for the youngers. Like it started from basic. We have like really I don't know 40 no 50 in fifth, sixth, and seventh year we got music. We also have one area we have and probably you have philosophy, and then we have like moral education. And now the things that now they will have is they will have it is like teamwork, like you have to do a report like in a like in journal, and you like now the classes I don't know very well because I'm not still in that program, but it is like you have to do at the end of the year or something like that work to improve the school and something like that. But I think that we need more activities like that.
More activities, yeah. And maybe there might be different schedules for students to choose his own schedule so that they will not get bored because I don't believe in learning and teaching when it is forced from outside. I mean, a person should feel it inside to want to learn. And maybe we should try to make the teaching and learning process more attractive than it is right now. Right? Shawai?
I think the schools should make students discover their abilities. Like maybe they can play violin, play guitar, or play volleyball or something very good, but they forced to study physics, study math or something, and that's just stop their success on their social lives, and that causes maybe their sadness in their life because when they do what they want to do, they become they become happier. And I think if the schools do that, happiness average maybe increase.
Yes, you're right. Thank you. Yes, Ismail.
Thank you. I think by doing this, and it will be interfering with the education system. This means the education system should be changed. But the education system itself is wrong in some countries, and even without this outbreak of the virus, education system is wrong. I think there's no way you can put 25 students in a class, teach them maths, every student has different capabilities, different talents, and different future. So there's no way of teaching them physics. There will be a competition. So it should not be that way. So by changing this, there's problem in the education system, it should also be changed even before, after this, the outbreak.
Okay, thank you. And I'm going to ask last question. We are already on time of giving break for the lunch. What do you think if this is our new normal? We have, I mean, probably you have watched a lot of science fiction movies, right? The world is changing and maybe we have to get used to it. So what would you suggest for the coming term? Let's say on September, we are not allowed to come back to our schools as we wish to. What are your new suggestions to continue our education? What should, or you can think like this, how should schools change themselves to get ready for the coming semester to prevent students from the virus? Şevval?
I think, first of all, I think it's not predictable. I think because we have technology, we have health systems, and they're developing day by day. But let's say it's happening, and my suggestion is, I think every student should have a teacher who help them with their schoolworks. Like we will give a teacher this like 3 students responsibility for their education, and the teacher should guide students on how to study at home and help them on every steps while they're having distance education. Because now most of the schools are not caring about students as much as they do when there was a face-to-face education. So there has to be someone who helps students in these hard times. And I think it can be a great improvement for the distance education.
Okay, thank you. Are you going to ask questions, Zeynep? To Şevval? Yes, go on, please.
First of all, I want to add something. Well, maybe probably there won't be enough teacher for all students. But what do you think about if there will be a training center or something to train parents to, guide students about those educations?
Thank you for your question. I think everything should be online. Like the teacher should check the students like daily or with a like daily or one out 2 days or something, and because they can't get each because they can talk like face to face, so that has to be online. Everything should be online. That's it.
Can I have, sorry, okay, Joe, go on.
So I have a question. That couldn't be made by students, like students that already are good at online help the other, and even probably the shyness students that don't like to talk to the teacher, they could talk with other colleagues.
Did you get the question, Şevval?
No.
So instead of the teachers, it could be the students do that for them, because it is more like a relationship between the friends, and the teachers are different. It could be better even.
Yeah, it can. The suggestion you said is acceptable, of course, because as you said, some people don't want to talk with older people, like, and they can feel warm for college students when they guiding them. Yeah.
In worldwide, there's a new technique. It's for health system. There's an application. You just write your problems into that application. You give your informations about yourself, about your illness or the way you are feeling, and then the applications help you to I mean, is a factor in your cell phone. So when you write down your illness, it helps you to get better, because it says like you say, I'm coughing, I have fever, and it says to you that you have cold. You should drink this kind of medicine, you should rest, and blah blah. So do you think, Shawal, this question for you, do you think a kind of application like that can be made up so that every student is going to have his own teacher? It's just a program. We don't have to have a real person for that situation, but you can write your question onto the app and it can help you to solve your problem. Like at the moment, you may say that I need psychological support. Right now, I don't feel well. I want to chat with someone or blah, blah, blah. You can make many more samples of it. So do you think such an application will work with education?
I definitely think that will work, because there's also things like that, like teaching you English, or like teaching you English. There's a lot of applications, and why there shouldn't be any of them about education? I think that will be helpful.
Yeah, that might be a solution for us.
Yes.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's all now. We are done for the moment, and we are going to be together at 2 o'clock for the coming topic is going to be economy. Okay, you are going to have a break time for lunch. See you in the afternoon. Take care.
See you.